You see someone yawn across the room. You feel your jaw tighten, your eyes water. Within seconds, you yawn too. You didn't choose this. Your brain did it for you. Most people assume yawning is just about being tired. That's not the real answer. The real answer is far stranger. Contagious yawning is one of the oldest social behaviors your brain performs. Some researchers believe it may be 60 million years old, buried in the wiring of your brain long before humans existed. It didn't start with boredom, it started with survival. Think about the last time you yawned in a meeting. You probably felt embarrassed. You covered your mouth. You assumed it meant you were bored or rude or exhausted, but your brain wasn't thinking about manners. It was running a program older than language itself. Here's the strange part. Yawning isn't really about oxygen, even though that's what most people believe. Researchers have tested that theory directly. In a study led by Robert Provine, one of the first scientists to seriously study yawning, participants breathed pure oxygen and still yawned just as often as everyone else. Oxygen had nothing to do with it. So what was actually happening? Provine's research pointed somewhere else entirely. Yawning, he found, is deeply social. It spreads between people the way a smile spreads, or a laugh, or a wince. You don't yawn in isolation nearly as often as you yawn around others. Something about seeing another person yawn flips a switch in your brain that you don't control. That switch has a name. Scientists call it the mirror neuron system, a network of brain cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you simply watch someone else perform it. In plain terms, your brain doesn't fully separate watching from doing. When you see someone yawn, part of your brain reacts as if you are yawning yourself. Then your body follows along. This is why yawning spreads through a room like a whisper passed from person to person. It's also why it spreads through a video call or even through a photograph of someone mid-yawn. Your brain doesn't need the full experience, it just needs a trigger. But here's where it gets even stranger. Contagious yawning isn't unique to humans. Chimpanzees yawn when they see other chimpanzees yawn. Dogs yawn when they see their owners yawn. Even some birds show signs of contagious yawning within their flocks. If this behavior showed up only in humans, you could chalk it up to culture, to manners, to something we learned, but it didn't start with us. It runs across species, across millions of years of separate evolution. That means something ancient is going on, something built into the architecture of social brains themselves. So why would evolution bother wiring something so seemingly pointless into so many different species? One leading theory comes from researchers studying group behavior in primates. Yawning may have started as a synchronization signal. Picture a group of early primates resting together in a troop. When one animal grew tired and yawned, its body language signaled a shift in alertness. If that signal spread through the group, the whole troop could shift together, resting when it was safer to rest, becoming alert when it was safer to be alert. A yawn wasn't just a personal sensation, it was a message. This idea connects to something researcher Elizabeth Cerulli explored in her studies on contagious yawning and empathy. Cerulli found that people who scored higher on empathy tests were more likely to catch a yawn from someone else. The more socially attuned your brain is, the more susceptible you are to this ancient contagion. Yawning, in this light, isn't a sign of rudeness or fatigue. It's a sign that your brain is deeply tuned in to the people around you. Think about what that means. The moment you catch someone else's yawn, your brain has just proven, in real time, that it is reading and responding to another person's internal state. You are not just watching them. You are, in a small way, feeling with them. This changes the picture entirely. That awkward yawn you tried to hide in a meeting wasn't a failure of willpower. It was your ancient social brain doing exactly what it evolved to do. Now, here's the twist that most people never learn. Contagious yawning fades with distance, both physical and emotional. Studies have found that people are far more likely to catch a yawn from a close friend or family member than from a total stranger. The closer your social bond, the stronger the contagion. Your brain isn't yawning at random. It's yawning based on connection. This is where the story gets personal. If you've ever noticed that you yawn more around people you love, that's not a coincidence. Your brain is constantly measuring closeness, running a quiet calculation you never consciously perform, and one of its outputs happens to be a yawn. There's another layer buried in the research. Children under about 4 years old rarely catch yawns from others. Neither do people on the autism spectrum in many studies, and neither do certain people with reduced social cognition. This isn't a coincidence either. It suggests that contagious yawning depends on a fully developed social brain, one capable of modeling what another person is experiencing. The yawn spreading through a room isn't a simple reflex. It's a quiet form of communication, running underneath language, underneath conscious thought. So the next time a yawn spreads across a room full of strangers, pay attention to who catches it and who doesn't. You're watching an invisible map of social connection draw itself in real time. None of this fully explains why yawning itself, as a physical act, exists in the first place. Researchers still debate that part. Some believe it cools the brain, since studies have shown yawning frequency rises in warmer temperatures and drops when a cool pack is held to the forehead. Others believe it helps reset alertness during transitions, like waking up or settling down to rest. The truth may be a mix of both, layered on top of a much older social signal that evolution repurposed for connection. What's clear is this: yawning is not simple, it's not lazy, it's not rude, it's a fossil of ancient group behavior, still running quietly in your brain every single day, connecting you to the people around you whether you intend it or not. Think about your day: the person who yawned near you on the train, the friend who yawned during a phone call and you felt your own jaw start to stretch, the dog who yawned back at you after a long day. Every one of those moments was a tiny, invisible thread, connecting your nervous system to someone else's, a thread spun by evolution millions of years before either of you existed. You didn't choose to yawn back. You never do. And maybe that's the point. Some of the oldest parts of being human aren't the ones you decide. They're the ones your brain decides for you, quietly proving, yawn by yawn, that you were never as separate from the people around you as you thought.